Hey, welcome back.
Like,
We're back with more Star Wars. Today is Empire Strikes Back, the GOAT, according to the minds of the many. I'm joined as always by Bubbling Brooke. Hi, Brooke.
Hel- Hello.
And at that one, Andrew. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
Fine. I just caught
That's
every
good.
Pokemon under the sun. Well, for Gen 2 at least.
I was
That
about
was
to
not
say
fun.
that's like 1,000 right there, man. That's a lot.
We're almost at 1,000, aren't we?
Yeah, I don't know. I stopped keeping track after like Pearl.
Yeah. But either way, let's go. Let's talk about Empire. So,
Yeah.
initial thoughts. How did you all feel when you finished the movies again?
This is objectively better than A New Hope, but I still think I like A New Hope more, and it's weird to come to terms with that. But that's not like a dig at Empire. I'm weird.
Well, remember, New Hope is the more, well, inspiring of the two. Even
It's
then,
true.
even then, this movie does end on a hopeful note at least. It doesn't. It's
A
not pure
bitter
cynicism. Not at
it's
all.
it's a it's a bittersweet note.
Yeah, but there's still there's more sweet than bitter, I'd say, because the bitter's already gone. But what about you, Andrew?
This movie's good. I came into watching the original trilogy kind of I don't know, expecting bad. Or not even bad. I guess expecting it not to be as good as I remembered, and that was definitely true for A New Hope. When I watched A New Hope, I was like, yeah, this is pretty dated. The acting's not great. The writing's not great. A lot of the set pieces and a lot of, the budget wasn't there and things like that. Still has a fantastic ending in A New Hope. But Empire really, and just that opening Hoth planet, I kind of forgot that it doesn't jump right to the battle. We kind of have this, they're establishing these characters again, kind of showing relationships between like Han and Leia and how Luke folds into the mix and things like that. And the rebels are on the run. Um, and then of course the third act is fantastic. The lightsaber duel in this movie is so much better than in
Oh,
4. So much better.
absolutely. Absolutely. Vader versus Luke is a super step up in execution compared to the one between unlike Obi-Wan versus Vader. Although I will say that Leia and Han just starting to get angry with each other immediately at the beginning of Empire is a little awkward.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like the beginning of this movie is like they threw the audience into the middle of another movie, if that makes sense. It doesn't
Yeah.
really like set up them like getting mad at each other first. They're just automatically like at each other's throats. So it's like, oh, okay, okay. I guess
Something
this is just how
happened.
it is.
Something happened. I mean, they kind of hint that some other battles happened and whatever. Like, oh, I got spotted
Yeah,
at Ord Mantell.
there's
Uh-huh.
defo a there's defo a time skip because Luke is a much more capable pilot at this point. He's the leader of a
How much
squadron.
time passed between these movies? Because these movies
I'm
have
not
a, I
sure.
think it's 2 or 3 years after the Death
3
Star blew up.
well, I know the movies themselves came out every 3 years. So this one came out in 1980.
Oh yeah, no, I mean like
So
how many years since the Battle of Yavin?
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they just stuck with like 3 years.
Old
They're like,
canon
oh,
was
it's
like
three
three to
years
five,
later.
but now new canon can be whatever it wants.
Mm-hmm.
There was
Yeah.
definitely a time skip though.
All I know is
Yeah.
that after this movie, the time skip between that and Return is 1 year.
Yeah,
But
it's not that
again,
long.
Disney could just say, "No, it's not 1 year anymore" if they want to.
It's true.
Also, I do have a question because I know the interesting thing about Empire is that partway through Mark Hamill got into a car accident or maybe early on in filming, but they don't film scenes in order. So at some
Uh-huh.
point, Mark Hamill got in a car accident. So what I'm curious about, and that's why they put in the Eddie scene to begin with, how much of that is makeup and how much is of that is his actual like injury from the car accident? That's what I'm curious about.
From what I heard, like all the scars and things you see are from his accident, and they put makeup to try and cover it up. But they didn't like. From what I heard, they didn't add like scars or anything like that.
So kind of like what happened to Pedro Pascal in the set of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, kind of.
If anything, the scars make it make more sense when he gets attacked by what's that thing? What's that? I forgot what that thing's called.
I want to
think
say
it's just the G.
Wampa, but I don't think that's right.
Wampa. Is that what it's called?
I
The
think
Abominable
so.
Snowman of Hoth.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
it's like
called a
Brooke
Wampa.
said, they added that scene in because of his scars. And actually, I think it kind of works in favor. I mean, obviously it sucks that happened to Mark Hamill. Don't ever want that to happen to anyone. But it kind of works because it just inherently makes him look older in this movie. So it kind of blends in well with him also maturing in the Force and maturing in the Squadron and things like that.
Yeah.
I also want to say that the lightsaber editing for igniting the saber is a lot better than in A New Hope.
Mhm.
Although I did notice that when Luke is leaving the Wampa cave, you hear the sound for the lightsaber to go back down and like turn off, but the lightsaber doesn't turn off.
Yeah, there's a little like here and there I noticed just some like weird things like, oh, there's an audio cue missed here, or like, oh, you see like this person doing something weird in the background. Like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like a totally professional set, but
You know the shot where
with the
like you
80s.
kind of see like the point of view of the Wampa with its arms like going at Luke. There's a frame in the old cuts. You don't see it here, but in the old cuts, you can actually see a part of a guy's arm.
Yeah.
They cut it out for the newer releases, which makes sense. But yeah, that honestly adds more to the kind of like the charm. It's got a bit of I don't want to call it a rustic charm, but it's just how they were in the old times, because that would have been just fully like CG'd as fuck in today's times with other stuff.
Well, it's like with the Mandalorian, they had that one guy in the background or something, and like the hour later he was gone. So, stuff like that just happens sometimes. The infamous coffee scene in Game of Thrones, Starbucks cup.
Oh no, lazy.
Did you hear about that?
Yes, I heard about it.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. They're like freaking so I don't know. One of them was drinking Starbucks and they left it in. It's weird. You'd think these multi-million-dollar productions would be a little more like in tune to this stuff, but I don't know.
Like I feel like if you see it in like in one of those older Star Wars movies, I think it could be played off as a joke, and they could have cut it out by now. But I think most Star Wars fans would take it as, oh, it's kind of funny, but they won't. It's just because Star Wars editing can sometimes be stupid, and you kind of like it more for it.
Yeah.
Of course, this is the least edited out of all three movies from George Lucas himself. New Hope has the most changes. This one has the least amount, I think. Return has some.
Oh, for the special editions?
Yeah.
The Empire is the least touched.
Thank God. There are more changes from that were like more for the digital release than this one. Like I know there's like the scenes in space where R2 was edited to look more black because they used a blue background, and that would look really weird when they're editing. But of course, now with today's tech, you can keep that blue on R2 without having to change it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You keep it to its true colors, those are fine changes because that's more reasonable. Of course, you understand why they couldn't go with it in the 80s. Now that was the 80s.
Well, technically,
I mean, it was
70s,
it came out in
that
whole movie was edited in the 70s, although I don't remember when it was released.
I thought only A New Hope came out in like the late 70s, like 1970s.
Yeah, but Empire must have been mostly produced and edited in the 70s, late 70s.
Yeah, I think this is when they still were doing the May releases, or early year. I mean, I can look it up real quick. But I know Star Wars didn't traditionally come out at like Christmas.
Oh yeah, these new movies were all about Christmas time, and
yeah, May 21st is when it came out. So that means most of the filming, editing, and things like that happened in 79.
All right. Okay, so what do you think of the Tauntauns? Everybody loves the Tauntauns.
Yeah,
If getting cut open is the reason why I have not seen this movie nearly as many times as Return or A New Hope, it
Yeah.
scarred me as a child. No joke. Not the Yeti. Han cutting open the Tekken Tauntaun.
You can, like, see the
Space
guts spill out and
Abominable
stuff.
Snowman.
Not the Abominable Snowman that loses an arm. Nope, it's the Tauntaun when
Not
that
even
gets
the
cut
blood
open.
that comes out of it.
Nope.
Oh yeah. It just like last time, for good measure, I saw the Family Guy version too. I think in the Family Guy version, was it the Wampa just Cookie Monster or something?
Yeah, uh-huh.
That
There's
was
the
so
Cookie
dumb.
Monster.
I love that. But okay. Anyway, I think after Luke passes out and Han finds him, you go cut to the Empire with their like, oh, we think we found something, and then you really see how incompetent Admiral Ozzel is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he
It's like,
flies
it's nothing.
in too close.
But
Oh well, yeah, he says that, and then
Vader-
afterwards.
yeah, Vader's passing by, and he's like, you found something, and Captain Piet's saying, oh, we think we found something here, Vader, and he's like, that's it. The rebels are there. And Admiral Ozzel has the audacity to just basically like calmly and smugly say, "Oh, it could be smugglers. It could be anything." He's like, "That is the system." This is where Vader has a lot more one-liners, possibly the most in all of them.
This is probably the movie that with the most amount of forced jokes, period. He does it at least 3 times in this movie. I was surprised.
You don't have Tarkin with him anymore, so Vader's just off hinge.
Yeah, there's no Tarkin to hold him down, and because Tarkin's dead, because he's an idiot.
We do, however, in this movie, see for the first time the Emperor.
Yeah,
and
he looks different in the original version.
I was gonna say, have any of you ever seen the original version?
Yes.
Because,
I have
my
not.
god, it's
I have
like
not.
this weird monkey man thing. It's so disturbing.
You have
what
to
they
think,
did.
is this what they based Snoke's design off of in the sequels? Because I feel like it kind of is. It looks a little like him. It looks a little.
That also reminds me, I couldn't remember how Vader knew that Luke was his son, and then they were just like, oh, Palps just heckin' told him.
Yeah, in the new comics, the new canon comics, he finds out through some connections, and he's like just shook that the one that destroyed the Death Star was his own son.
Shooken.
Yeah.
But we gotta talk about the Battle of Hoth, though.
But I want to get there. No, hold on. No. There's a part there. There's a part we gotta use the power of hindsight to think about like what's wrong with them. And I know some will say, "Oh, but that didn't get discovered until the next movie." Wrong. The whole thing about Luke having a sibling was hinted in this very fucking film. And what happens? His sibling decides to taunt Han by kissing him.
To be fair, I had forgotten where the kiss was. I thought it was at the end of the movie when Luke got his new hand. I was incorrect. It was in Hoth. It was very early on, and my notes say as follows. Fucking yikes, the kiss, in all caps.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine. It's just a little sibling kiss. It's not that.
That's how they do
okay.
it. That's how they do it on Alderaan.
Yeah, that's how they do it on Alderaan. It's fine.
But they didn't know at that. But they didn't know at that point. So.
Yeah, I like how Family Guy went around that was when Lewis calls Peter a nerf herder. He punches her. Like that's our word.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Honestly, that scene, I was not looking forward to going back to it now, and I still wasn't. But then there's another kiss scene where you're like, fuck it, yes, the kiss.
Yeah, and then C-3PO's a cockblock. But I want to say, backtracking to that infamous kiss scene instead of the famous one, my headcanon persists through. Luke is happy to make Han jealous, not because he got kissed by Leia, because later on, when Luke's about to go out into the ship and help do the thing against the AT-ATs, he has this longing look at Han Solo. This boy is gay and crushing on this man. You cannot tell me otherwise. If that's not romantic feelings, you can't tell me what's not.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see it. Luke's just this lonely old farm boy, and one day he comes across this dashing young bounty hunter, or I guess he's a smuggler, not a bounty hunter.
No,
Um,
we see a real bounty hunter later.
yeah, well, I mean,
Well, it took
quote,
it took
quote
a
unquote
spin-off.
real.
It took a real
I'll
it took a
have my
spin-off
Boba
to
rant
make him
later.
great. Make Boba great
I'll have
again.
my Boba. He has been.
Oh, I can't
Finally.
say that
Let's
because
have it.
yeah, I can't say that. That's too political, and apparently it means
Yeah, I
I'm
was about
more.
to say.
Yeah, this is an
But anyway.
this is anti-imperial podcast. Fuck the Empire.
Yep. Heck the Empire. Battle of Hoth is great. I am a slut for stop motion.
I love the music.
It looks great.
I feel like they really make that music like the beginning, where if it has like an uneven tone and it keeps cycling between deeper horns and higher pitched horns. You know, like the low bass and like baritones and the tubas coming in the background at first. Then it comes into the trumpets.
Mm-hmm.
I really like how it just cycles between having these lower, like I like it when the lower horns are used for when you're just hearing the footsteps of the walkers, and then when the speeders come, and that's when the higher trumpets come in to just show like, oh yeah, look, here come the rebels, they're gonna beat him again just like last time. But no, it doesn't go as well as it did last time. Even Luke, who is an established pilot, he's the best pilot they have. I wouldn't say he gets shot down pretty easily, but things are bad for him from the start because Dak, his gunner, he can't get his tow cable set. It's jammed, and then he gets shot. So Wedge has to come in and do the shot for him, and they can't hold off all these walkers. The walkers are some of the most broken things you think you find in this whole movie saga. Of course, then Last Jedi says, "Nah, hold my drink." Because they just circumvented the last weakness of the AT-AT because, okay, I was gonna say there's something with Rebels that made me wonder, like, why didn't Luke just cut the legs off? I'm gonna assume that these AT-AT walkers are more armored because you think just cutting a leg off a walker would bring it down, but I don't know.
Yeah,
They must be too big for a single lightsaber strike.
Yeah,
he also probably hasn't really experimented with the lightsaber up to this point. He probably just didn't think about it.
yeah.
He's like, this is just the way we do it. We get in our ships, and I'm gonna fly up there like everyone else.
I just hope to believe that maybe it's been tried before, but these are like, because like the ones in Rebels, they look like a little more lighter armored and weaker. Like they look like prototype designs.
Yeah, same in Rogue One. At the end of Rogue One,
those
they
are
have
different.
AT-ATs.
Those are specifically for transport or for material carrying around a base. That's why they're thick. They sacrifice armor for a little bit better mobility, but also just to carry stuff better. Because if you had that big ass armor on top of the stuff you're carrying, you're just gonna collapse.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody calls these snow camels. One of my favorite jokes, calling it a snow camel. Cause that's pretty much what it is. If you keep that armor and all that, it'll just break the snow camel's back. But hey, they can still take I found out one thing: they can take an X-wing fire. So yeah, speed is the only good thing.
It makes you wonder why in the future, when there's certain teddy bears that are fighting against them, that they didn't just drop some AT-ATs.
There was one.
It must have been.
There was one.
I think there was only one though, but if I remember, when we get to return, it was a lot more dense of a forest, so they relied on the smaller.
They'd have to cut down all the forest, which that's more trouble than it's worth. Just stick to AT-STs.
That sounds like the Empire, though. Deforestation. That sounds like something they'd do.
I mean, they would if they were trying to rob it of all of its resources.
There is a tactical advantage to having those trees there, because it may limit you, but it also limits the other side. But considering the rebels are all about,
we'll get to that.
Yeah, the rebels are all about small strike teams. That's not exactly as good as you'd think.
Yeah.
Small note, I love Leia's outfit and hair on Hoth, but when they get to Cloud City, I hate the outfit change and the hair change. I don't like her outfit on Cloud. I don't like her design, for lack of a better word, on Cloud City.
This is the second movie where she's not wearing a bra.
At least it's harder to tell.
Yeah, not like the first one.
If you're wearing snow clothes, you can forgive that. You won't notice that. It's really in the first movie you notice. That's the only one.
That's like a see-through dress in the first movie.
Oh yeah.
They couldn't let her top. They couldn't let her top get filthy. Otherwise, oops.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, it doesn't take long for Veers just to get a shot at the shield generator. It feels like a weird parallel, especially because like how the music is much more sounds much more dire when it blows up. Unlike the first one, when the Death Star blows up, it feels more clutch. And this one is just, oh yeah, you're fucked. So they have to leave.
I'm really glad that they did this movie the way that they did it, because if they didn't, we would have had a movie series kind of, I mean, honest, not to harp on them or anything, but kind of like the sequels. In the sequel movies, the good guys never really lose. There could be an argument made that, in episode 8, they lose because, they lost everything. But even then, they take out like all of the First Order's ships. They take out that dreadnought. They take out the massive one by hyperspacing through it. So it's like more of a draw than a loss. But I'm glad saw that these rebels took out the Death Star, but that doesn't mean the Empire is like incompetent or anything. We're going to show you that these guys can still like fuck shit up if they want to.
Yeah. Even like with the new stuff like the comics, they show you like, okay, it's time to stop taking these guys like a joke. Time to take them seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what happens. This is just further proof. Like they are not taking the rebels lightly. They are not giving them chances. Except, well, it's a bit true, but also not. Like you can tell that some of these admirals here are so stupid and incompetent. Like, okay, going back, he is like, look, sir, one rebel transport's coming towards us. Like, good, our first catch of the day. He gets shot by the ion cannon. You just see the thing just awkwardly floating off, like unevenly to the side, while the transport and the 2 X-wings get away.
That's another thing. Like, why wouldn't they launch, TIE fighters, TIE bombers, things like that? Or why wouldn't they have like more than one? Like, you're saying this is the Rebel secret base. I'm assuming this is like the base. They keep talking about finding one of them, not multiple of them. So there's only one Rebel base, and you guys send 3 Star Destroyers?
You see how many that there are when you see the Executor. There you see about 5.
ISDs are still like gigantic. I know the Vader's ship that he's on later that we see is even bigger.
I mean, that's ridiculously big, yeah.
Man, how long would it take for you to walk from one end of the ship to the other?
You couldn't.
Days. Literal days.
God damn. And then you think, and then you know what's crazy? We never talk about this, but you know those ships from Episode 1, the Blockade Ships?
Yeah.
That thing is bigger. That takes even longer. They're even bigger than the Star Destroyers. You put them next to a Venator, which is a little bit bigger than a Victory Star Destroyer. That thing is just, it's tiny. It's tiny.
Yeah.
That's a big boy ship right there. I don't even know how it moves. But either way, you see how like the Empire is taking them seriously, except the people at the top of the brass. The grunts are doing their job, but like the guys up top are so incompetent because they're just so cocky and they're just expecting to win.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why. But except that's why I say like the ground guys, they get all the credit. That's why Veers is like one of the goats. He just blows up the thing. It's like, oh, don't worry, Vader, you can touch down now. We're about to blow up the shield generator.
Yeah, he honestly is like just badass in this. Like he is just like boom done, Vader, you're good. Let's go. Crush him.
Yeah, there's something I wanted to mention with him. There was another comic with him where after that moment, Snowspeeder crashes into the AT-AT and it goes down. He was gonna die, except in like with his life flashing before his eyes, he sees Vader and hears him breathing. So he just comes back out of consciousness, not wanting to die because he doesn't want to fail Vader, because failing Vader's worse than death. I don't know if that's just out of fear or respect.
I was about to say, that's like the most respect you could give a person. I respect you so much, I won't die.
It's so bad.
I'm so afraid of what you'll do to me because I died that I'm not going to die.
Yeah.
Death is worse.
Even though he already blew up the generator, like, you've done all your accomplishments. It's like, no, that's still not enough. I can still do more. Much respect.
Yeah.
Either way, yeah, Vader does touch down, and Han has to come back and get Leia out. I think like they get blocked off by like the base collapse, and so they got to get her out on the Falcon. So now Han has like the most important person on the ship, in his ship, I should say. And anyway, it comes with a free C-3PO. C-3PO kind of gets annoying in this film. I don't hate.
A little bit, but I still think he's funny. I still think he's necessary for.
Yes, he is. He is necessary. I think that like this movie does have some good comedy when it needs to have it to break up some tension, like with the whole our first catch of the day. Like it's more funny than just to show off the incompetence, but I love it either way. But
Yes.
Luke gets out. He's going to Dagobah, and now I think that when Han's already out in space, now there are TIE fighters. Like, oh, now you want to have ties.
Oh yeah, now we get into a half-hour long space chase, but it's done well because it's broken up and it's also like one small ship, so we see a lot of maneuvers and things like that. They go through an field, getting chased by fighters and stuff.
Oh yeah,
it's very entertaining.
And it's not just I'm gonna slightly veer to the left. They actually, he makes Star Destroyers bump into each other.
Oh yeah, like in episode 4 where he's like, I know some maneuvers and just
slightly veer
goes to the left a bit.
Like, is he moving just slightly to the left? This guy must have some excellent tactics. But of course, I think the asteroid field is where I think the music gets even better there. I like the asteroid field.
Oh
music.
yeah.
But you see how crazy it is when all these TIE fighters are just getting wrecked by a bunch of rocks. Who would win? An army of well-trained pilots or just some rocky boys?
Or just some rocky boys.
Space Geodudes.
Space.
Is pretty good though. Although I think I like how they take a pause by hiding inside one of the bigger ones to kind of slow things down.
Yeah. They land in the big one, and it turns out to be a massive worm for whatever reason.
Space worm.
Space worm.
Worm.
Yeah, it's weird.
So, what do you guys think about Dagobah? What do you think about all that?
Dagobah is a weird planet, but I think it's a great place
It's
you want to
very
hide
weird.
on.
Yeah.
Did that whole part drag for you,
I don't
or were you
think
really
so.
into it?
I don't think it
Because it was
dragged
a
for
little
me.
slow at the beginning, especially now that I mean I get it. The first time you're watching it, it's like, okay, like who is this little guy and stuff, but now watching it for the 20th time, it's like, this is Yoda. I know Yoda,
He's
but it
fooling
just
you.
kind of drags out a little bit.
I like the idea that Obi-Wan told Yoda to be as much of a little shit to Luke as he possibly could be.
I think Yoda was doing that act on purpose because he knew it was Luke. He knew Luke.
Oh
Was
no,
coming.
he was. Yeah. That because he says
obviously.
later. Because later when he gets into the hut and stuff, he's like, he's not ready. Like he was testing him the whole time, and he was like, no, he's not ready. It goes back to why I don't like the way he acts in episode 8, because people just hang on to how he was acting in the beginning, but all that was a test for Luke. That's not actually how Yoda acts.
Because Luke's biggest flaw as an adult is that he is reckless. It's the classic.
Very reckless.
It's the classic criticism of the youth. It's just, oh yeah, you're too impatient. You want to get things done now. You're not willing to take your time to calm down, think things rationally. It's a classic cliche flaw, but for a Jedi, it makes more sense that the Jedi has to be more calm because, well, look what the Force can do to you if you don't try to be calm as possible and rational as possible.
Yeah, I would have liked it if they would have made Luke not more of an ego, but maybe if he would have been like, I took out the Death Star already, guys. I kind of went face to face with Vader in the trench run. I would have liked a little more of that. Just be like, hey, you need to. They kind of do it with Anakin, I guess, because Anakin's kind of like that in the prequels.
Yeah. I think.
But that's definitely more of an Anakin character trait than it is a Luke character trait.
Mhm.
I think the reason why Luke's not saying that, because if that were true, they wouldn't be hiding from the Empire right now.
Yeah, true. He would have been like, "Oh, guys, I got this. I can take him."
Luke just wants Luke wants more, regardless of the fact that if he can physically handle it at the moment.
As much
And
as
I give him
as
time.
much as I like Luke, he's not as good as his dad. His dad is the best starfighter pilot I've seen in the movies.
He crashed every ship you've ever flown.
Has he?
Yeah, he has.
Anakin has seriously crashed every ship.
Nah, I'm thinking
I
about
watched Clone Wars. He's crashed a lot of them.
He's had
He
some battles where he
crashes.
just wins.
it. Quite a bit of them, at least in the movies.
The
think
only
he
time
does
he doesn't
crash
crash
every
is when he
ship
lands
that
on
he's in.
Mustafar. It's just a perfect landing. 10
Yeah.
out of 10. R2 stay with the ship.
My bad.
Oh yeah, R2.
But
R2's
yeah.
more fun here. He's fighting with Yoda for the flashlight.
Oh my gosh.
I love I love the fact that, you know, R2, since he's never been reformatted, it's just like, what the heck happened to you, old man? Why are you doing this?
R2's probably like, dude, you
Dude,
really fell off.
What happened in the 20 years I've been gone?
Yeah,
Side
20 years
note,
is a lot to an old man.
You guys ever seen the bad lip readings of the Yoda song?
No.
That's definitely, it's called Seagulls. That's definitely something you should look up because it's all like the part of him messing around and stuff, but it's like it's bad lip reading, so it's like a lip sync of him singing. But I really like it. It's pretty fantastic.
I might have if it's the video I'm thinking of. But I did want to mention that of the tidbit that droids can talk to ships, and it's very interesting thinking about that in respect to at least the Millennium Falcon. Although we do get that because C-3PO talks to the Millennium Falcon, and then R2 talks to the main computer on Cloud City.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting if you saw Solo and know that there's a more droid, there's a sassy droid that
there's a sassy droid in there.
Uploaded into the Falcon.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay, so going to like when the Jedi training begins, and Yoda's basically, this is where Yoda starts just putting more exposition on the Jedi and their intricacies. I, for one, really like how he makes it clear what the faults are and what the flaws are, but then there's a whole Luke's asking him fair questions like, how will I know what's the dark or what's the light? And it's like, you will know when you're calm at peace. You know, Luke's just not sure. He's just asking questions. It does feel a little.
Yeah.
It just kind of irk me just a bit. He's like, don't question it. Just trust me on this. But what do you all think of the cave scene or the cave scene, whatever?
It's fine.
I mean, it's the biggest
cool foreshadowing.
It's the biggest hint of what's gonna come later.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert!
It's really good. It's really good foreshadowing because, well, to the audience, we just heard this whole thing of like Luke is like, what is light side? What is dark side? He's just learning these powers, and to us, we're kind of interpreting it like, oh, he doesn't do this right.
Yeah, when you see when you see his face. I think what Luke's thinking and what they expect you to think is that, oh shit, that will, he'll be next.
Yeah, he'll be the next Darth Vader. But of course, I think the actual foreshadowing is like, he is you in a way,
Yes. Spoiler alert. Okay, but so I mean, it's weird how the frames kind of how do I call it? What do you there's less frames, it's more.
Yeah, the frames drop on that part. It's so weird and jarring.
It's on purpose.
I mean,
it's a purpose.
Yeah, it's definitely on purpose.
But okay, so after that, Luke's just kind of trying to figure out what it is. Yoda's not telling him much, but of course, it'll start the theme of Luke with his flaw is that he doesn't believe in himself. Yeah. But then you go back to the Falcon, and Leia's just chilling, doing a crossword puzzle or something, and then she sees what they call those things, a Minoc, bat things or whatever. She's like, "There's something alive in here." Oh wait, we completely glossed over the kiss, the good kiss.
Bat thing.
What about the good kiss?
Yeah, I was about to say, you just skipped right over the kiss.
No, because the kiss
happens.
happens.
It was a good kiss.
The kiss happens while Luke's talking with Yoda and Obi-Wan inside the hut, I think.
You could tell that they had practiced a lot before that kiss. Because that was a very natural kiss.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's why I feel like when you think about it in hindsight, I'm kind of thinking the actors knew what to say more than George did because, well, going off some of the lines from the prequels, he needed some help. He needed a lot of help, but these two knew what to do. I like to I like to think that them alongside with the other script writers, because I know there was another guy working with George, because George had some other ideas for Empire. That this is why the prequels had their flaws, is because nobody questioned him, but in these movies they did. I don't know if you know this. George wanted to have Yoda be a monkey guy instead of the green alien.
I like that.
No.
He could be a little monkey.
Yeah, so it's like, Luke, you got to get that monkey off your back. I feel like that might have been a joke if that happened.
Yeah,
Either way,
definitely.
you see what I mean? Like this, George is a great ideas guy, but sometimes you got to know when to step in and say, "Nah, man, that's not going to go over well with people." I don't know if Yoda would have been as beloved if you turned him into a monkey man.
Probably not.
He's a quarter Saiyan. Either way, pretty bad. Yeah, so this is like that. Even then, there were some bad ideas by George, but that's why when you get to the prequels, you're gonna see what happens if you just let a man have all the power.
Yeah, because a writer was actually hired for.
Yes, and that's why him and other people that were working on it were just telling him, no, no, you don't want to do this. Just trust me, you don't want to do this.
He tried though for the prequels. He tried to get writers, but no one would do it.
We did get sassy Obi-Wan, and we did in fact get one of the greatest lines to ever be muttered in cinema history, and this is how democracy dies, with uproarious applause. So I got to give him credit where credit is due.
Yeah, George has the right idea, but you need someone to help you refine some of those.
Oh, absolutely.
Wait till we talk about the cut content of Revenge of the Sith. There's enough there to make it.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
There's enough cut content from Revenge of the Sith that you could have made that into a Clone Wars episode. But either way, actually, you'd think it would be from the Clone Wars show. But anyway, okay, so so about with the kiss, there's something else. C-3PO, the C must stand for cock block. Because, damn, C-3PO comes in legit proud that he fixed a power cup thing, and Leia just takes this chance to just sneak her way out of the room to the other side.
Well, I like that because that's good. That's good flow for the movie. Because if C-3PO didn't do that, it would just kind of been like, well, A, either they just awkwardly stop, or B, they keep going, and I don't think we want to see them keep going.
You could always cut from that. You could always just do a good old screen wipe back to Dagobah or to the Empire.
Yeah, but even then, like, when we cut back, it'd just be like, oh, I guess they're done. You know, I think they put C-3PO on a good role in this movie.
Okay, enough about these two. I want to go to the Empire again, because I was talking about how the admirals and stuff were incompetent. I mean, there was the whole thing where Vader chokes Admiral Hoth to the TV, and Piet.
Oh, that was long distance choking.
Yeah, he's like, I bet you didn't think I could do that, huh? Choke you to the TV. Okay, then Piet's gets in command, like he's talking to him while he's choking Hazel. I like how Piet's actor is just like, look at between Vader, trying to keep reasonable contact between Vader and the guy literally dying right in front of him.
Yeah.
He's like, you are in command now, Admiral Piet. It's like, thank you, Lord Vader.
And he's just like, oh god, look at this dude, he's dead.
This is not how I thought my day would go. That's like the first guy Vader force chokes. There's another one.
There's a few,
I think there's two.
There's at least 3 different force chokes in that movie. I swear.
Yeah, and then there's I think Piet comes to Vader in his meditation chamber. I don't know if he's like putting on the helmet again yet or not.
His Little Mermaid clamshell meditation center.
That thing's supposed to be there so he can actually breathe without the mask. He can only breathe.
Right, but I still think.
Yeah.
I still think it's funny though.
It is funny, but Anyway, I like how he's like, asteroids do not concern me. I don't care if you all die. I just want Skywalker or Leia. And my favorite thing is when they're going through, like, there's 3 Star Destroyers, his and 2 other ones. You just see one get blasted out of there with an asteroid. And on the, like, when they're all, like, having their Skype call, you see one guy, like, ah, and then he disappears. It's kind of funny in a way. Of course, Vader does get out of the asteroid field because Palpatine demands his presence. And that's when we see Palpatine. You were talking about, like, the whole first time you ever saw him, like, in the original cut. But it's so weird just seeing a good, clean transmission with Palpatine there. I don't know. But they're talking about, oh, you know, the son of Skywalker must not become a Jedi, and Vader's proposing he could be turned. And at first you may think, why is he wanting to turn him? It sounds like they've been killing Jedi their whole lives, and he wanted to kill Obi-Wan. Of course, now we know why, but it makes sense later. But it feels a little uncharacteristic at first for Vader, of all people, to suggest, hey, we should try making him a Darksider. But, you know, the future tells us why he's being more cautious with Luke, and like he wants to approach him instead of just blast him out of orbit. But speaking of Luke, let's cut to him. He's training in the Force, and there's this recurring theme of him just getting distracted, and he messes up. Like when he has Yoda on top of his foot, like he's doing like a one-handed handstand, and he's got like Yoda on his feet that are up in the air, and he's trying to like lift some like rocks or something. He starts to have visions, and I love how Yoda just falls off. You have this first-person shot of Yoda, like, ah, and he falls off.
Yeah, his eyes get all big. Ah!
Concentrate! Luke it's just showing more of Luke having little confidence in himself with the Force. And I think that's when the X-Wing starts to sink, right? Yeah, it starts to go like deeper into the swamp to where you can barely see a barrel of the blaster still there. Luke's trying to pull it out, and at first Yoda's like, "Wow, he's actually doing it!" Like he's actually doing it, but then it's just, oh nope, he can't keep control. He's not focusing enough. He's not staying calm, and it just sinks. And he's saying he can't do it. It's too big. And then there are some good lines from Yoda here. Judging by my size, do you? Hey, Brooke, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just listening.
Oh, no. It just said you're talking, and I don't even hear you talking. The little Discord thing. The green circle's been around you.
The little green circle is...
Oh, don't worry about it.
But, Brooke, nothing...
It's magic.
Do you judge Yoda by his size?
Of course not.
But...
I'm not stupid.
Yeah, Yoda just... he pulls out the X-Wing, and then he says the best line in the whole movie. That is why you fail.
Yeah.
Of course, there was the
one... I don't know. I think the line, do or do not, there is no try.
I like how he just says that is why you fail. You know, it's because you don't believe in yourself. You don't have belief. Because I think that's the whole theme with Luke's character growth in this movie, is that he has to have he needs to believe in himself if he wants to actually become stronger. If all the power in the world doesn't mean shit if you don't believe that you have it. Stuff like that.
They really did nail the pacing of this movie. Because I was just thinking, like, if in A New Hope, if at the beginning during the desert scene, if there was like a place to cut away to a few more times, I know they did to the Empire a few times, but maybe like to the Rebels or something, that probably would have made the beginning of A New Hope not drag on so long. But they really are in this pretty big chunk of this movie, but it doesn't feel like it drags out too much at all.
Oh, it don't.
Because it's just paced really, really well.
I think of the three, this one might be the best paced. I need to watch Return just to make sure. I always thought Empire was a little better paced. Like, especially because, you can go from the fast pace chase scene with the Falcon, and then you go to just Luke just meditating and lifting up rocks and lifting up R2. Oh yeah, he also drops
Yeah.
R2. That was like, he's like, Dad, you're just gonna let everybody fall. If only C-3PO was there, because then he would have dropped him too. But either way, it was pretty funny seeing R2 fall. But then of course it's because of why he falls makes sense, because Luke has a vision. He has a much more clear vision about what might happen soon. And it's kind of weird because you kind of think what's going to happen, because they're not... You know where Han is going, but Luke seems to know what's going to happen before they even get there. But, oh, yeah. Oh, wait, there's the debut of the bounty hunters. We mentioned Boba, but then there's those other guys. Isn't it crazy how each one of them have their own story now?
IG-88, there's Boss Keys there, some other people I don't really know. I can't
I think
remember
there's a
their
guy
names.
called
They
Dengar.
all have names though.
I don't know. I only
Dengar might be there, yeah.
Like, the only one you know from, like,
And
Clone Wars is Trandoshan. Vosk.
yeah.
Fuck Vosk.
Vosk,
He's a bitch.
yeah.
Boba better.
Boba was nothing until Mandalorian came out.
He was better. Yeah, I found him a little more enjoyable than Vosk in the Clone Wars show. I wish they gave us that the episode that was scrapped. There were some scrapped episodes. Some of them they did for this season, but some they didn't. Like, there was one where they go to Utapau and find that big Kyber crystal. I wonder what that could be for. And that's where that's right after Ahsoka leaves, so Anakin's all upset, and Obi-Wan's like, "Hey, you want to talk about it?" It's like, "What's there to talk about?" But then the other one they cut was where, you seen Boba's helmet, the little dent on the head. Doesn't?
Yeah, I know about that. I know Filoni was tempted to fill that quote unquote loose end.
I'm telling you, man. Anything in Star Wars, there's a story for it. Anything. And that's one of them. And it's because of
But he doesn't fill in his own. Where's Stinky? Well, we're getting sidetracked. Where's Stinky the Hut?
Oh, the baby.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's a good question.
We don't know where Stinky is.
Yeah. Either way, I do like. I wish they kept that one, because if I wanted to take Boba seriously, seeing him beat up Cad Bane, who was the best bounty hunter of that era, with Django gone, would have made a lot of sense. It would have made me take it more seriously. Like, okay, now we know how good he can be. He beat this guy.
But now he's not dead. He can't be. I refuse to believe that he's dead, and I choose to believe that he wasn't called an Empire, because the Anakin side of Vader was still salty about it.
Yeah. No disintegrations. Okay, question. Have you all heard the original voice of Boba?
Yes.
No.
The actor died
like I said, I grew up
earlier, I think last month. Rest his soul. God rest his soul.
I only heard the, like I said, I grew up with the special editions of all the movies, so...
I heard both. I didn't find out about the other versions until I looked them up just on the internet, because you can find all the original cuts on the internet, mostly. But either way, what do you guys prefer? The old voice or the original? Or the current? I mean, the Tamora Morrison voice.
The current one. It's just more continuity. I like it.
I like Tamora Morrison.
Tamora Morrison's pretty rad.
I love Tamora Morrison. I would love to hear more clones in live action, just so I can hear him voice them again. I like how he does it. Nothing against D. Bradley Baker. He does a fantastic job with them in the show, but there's just something about how Tamora Morrison does his clone trooper voice, especially if you played Republic Commando. He plays Boss. Really good. Really good. But either way, so Boba, here's a question. Here's something that baffled me, and I looked at it again. Okay, so you see him like 10 minutes before this scene. He's with Vader on the Executor. Okay? And you see, I don't know if you remember, there was that Star Destroyer that Han got attached to. It was on its own. It was separate from the fleet. So here's my question: how the hell did Boba get from the Executor to that particular Star Destroyer, get in the trash area, and then float out with them?
Look,
no, he
there's
didn't. I don't think he floated out. He was following them.
How did he know where they were? That's my question. How did he find them?
You just don't. There's just some questions you don't ask.
That's
They
what
needed a reason, and it just happened.
it feels like pure chance.
I mean, that's what Star Wars is pure chance. How did the droids land right by Luke's farm? I mean, like, yeah, there's so many things. How did they land in the Death Star right where Leia was being held? Like, that thing's the size of a moon.
I'm not hating on it. It's just such a weird thing when I noticed on a replay, on a repeat watch. It's like, what? How did he?
It is just like, how did he do that?
How did he know that they were there? I mean, he's probably looking out the window unlike everybody else. Any of those Star Destroyers said, hey, let's look out the bridge window. What do you see? Oh, hey, what's that doing on that Star Destroyer? What's that? All you need to do, look out the window. There's your answer. But either way, not very smart. Anyway, so they cut to Bespin. Han's getting shot by those what are those things? The ships with like two pilots. So like, does one fire the gun and the other just flies the ship?
Yeah, I don't know. I
Probably.
just call them Bespin ships.
They're so
but,
dumb.
Yeah, they have two pilots.
I never
don't
liked
know.
them. I always thought they were stupid because like two
they're
pilots
cool.
in two sections.
I kind of like them. Playing the Rogue Squadron games, you get to use them sometimes, and I'm like, that's cool. They're fun.
I remember I could use them in Lego Star Wars.
Hmm.
One good shot, one good cut down the middle. That'd be funny. Now just imagine one flying through and a lightsaber just cuts the engine clean in half. What do you think will happen? It'll blow up, or it'll just split in two and they just spin around till they blow up on something.
Now, I really do love Bespin, not only aesthetically, but also what they do here, because this is just a little mining city
I'd live there.
that has no allegiance, and the Empire just kind of well, at first Lando is just like, we meet Lando and he's like, hey, he has as much swagger as Han Solo, which is really hard
And he's
to
got
do.
a cape, so that means he's cool.
And he's got a freaking cape, and it works. It doesn't look out of place. Darth Vader has a cape too, but that also works and it's not out of place.
You're not gonna question Darth Vader's fashion sense. You don't want to do it.
But they like secretly collude with the and I don't know. I just really like what they're doing here because they're playing the neutral point, but then the Empire's like, we're gonna take you anyways. Now there is one scene, and I doubt you guys noticed it, because I only know this because I watched like one of those documentary special things. But in Cloud City, after this is after they freeze Han and they do all this stuff, Lando goes over to the the intercom of the city, because I guess that's the thing they have. And he's like, the Empire's taking over. Everyone evacuate. And it shows a shot of like everyone running out with stuff. And there's this one dude. I don't know if you guys ever heard of
the bucket dude. It's an ice cream maker.
It's an ice cream maker. Yeah, there's this one dude that's just just a fucking normal ice cream maker.
I forgot to look for him. I was cognizant that this is where he was in this movie, but I forgot to got to that scene.
Yeah. He's like super infamous. Is
that where? Okay, I remember the third, the Return of the Jedi Family Guy film. They made fun of a guy, like they were talking about ice. They were talking about ice shovels. Is that why the whole joke came from with the ice cream guy?
I'm not sure. All I know is like at Star Wars conventions and stuff, there's always like a ton of people that will dress up as the ice cream maker dude. It's also just kind of funny that this guy, like, oh shit, we got to evacuate the city. Let me grab my ice cream maker. That's what I need.
But we don't know what it actually is. We just know that the prop was an ice cream maker.
Yeah. It's pretty freaking funny though.
Real talk.
But yeah,
I wish I could buy my own Slurpee maker. I wish I could.
That'd be pretty rad.
Talk, I would love that.
I would love that. Give me money. I want to be rich just so I could get a Slurpee maker in my own house. That way, because I hate going to the store and it's never there for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so the whole thing. What did you think of the Han torture scene? And just Boba's just right there, like, yeah, I'm gonna get paid from this.
I mean, it hurts seeing a hero get tortured.
Like, he's no good to me dead.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
Empire will compensate you if he doesn't survive. Like Han is just used as a guinea pig for Luke.
Yeah, that's all it is
Yeah, and that was and
just bait.
it just gets to that line of this was never part of our agreement, Vader, and there's perhaps you think you're being treated unfairly. It's like you really want to tell Vader that he's giving you a bad deal. You want to tell Vader that?
Lando, you really want to tell that to his face?
Yeah. Oh, then there's a later part where he's like, "I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further."
Altered.
Which
Yeah, he said that. To
I think what
Lando.
makes it better is that years later, like we're talking like over 10 years ago, the robot chicken got Lando's actor to play him in there for their Star Wars special, and they made a whole skit about I have altered the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further. And he keeps making him wear stupid stuff like you will wear these clown shoes, and it's like you will ride this unicycle, and he keeps saying this was never part of our arrangement. It's like I have altered the deal. Pray I don't alter any further. And every time he says this deal's getting worse all the time, Vader gives him more shit. And then you see the stormtroopers and Boba Fett laughing in the background. It's so good. I think it just sells it more because it's Billy D. Williams. I love Billy D. Williams. He's a great man. But man, okay, so during the freezing scene, you know, where Leia's like, "I love you, I know," but
Yeah.
hearing Chewie scream out for Han like he's dead, oh, it's painful, and yet it makes me think of another movie. You know the one.
Do I know the one?
Chewie's yells of anguish are always an emotional gut punch.
Oh yeah, I feel like he would have snapped if not because Han told him like don't get angry, just protect Leia.
Oh yeah, he would have attempted to rip some arms off, and then he would have been murdered for it.
Yeah, he only did not burst out like he would because that's what Han told him not to. But yeah, that's pretty bad. The Empire's a bunch of assholes because that's where Vader's like put them on my ship because he needs more. He's gonna have them as insurance to make sure Luke does give in and surrender to him if he can't beat him in combat, which he knows he'll win. It's just Vader likes to make sure he will always win. That's just how the Empire is. But of course Lando decides to turn on the Empire with that weird robot old man thing. What is that? What are they? Who are they called? Do you know?
No, I
It's
don't.
like the what's it called? Now, it's a cyborg or an android?
That would be on
Cyborg, right?
Cyborg, because it's human too.
Yeah.
right?
Okay. Yeah, it's a cyborg. They wakes up some cyborg dude. All like the Bespin officers just capture the Imperial guys. And I like how as soon as Lando takes off Chewie's handcuffs, starts choking him out. He's pissed.
Yeah.
Chewie only didn't do anything as Vader was there, just to respect Han's wishes. Now that Han's gone, nothing's stopping him now from killing everybody. But so they try to go after Boba Fett, catch up to him, get Han back. That does not work out well. Oh wait, hold on. There's something else. Luke's already there, and while they're being taken away, Leia spots Luke, and she's trying to warn him it's a trap. Everybody's telling Luke, "Don't go, it's a trap." Yoda's telling him it's
And
a
Luke's
trap.
like, eh.
Yeah, Yoda tells him.
I know, but I need to go anyway.
Yeah, like he has to go, and it turns out it is good that he goes. He had to go. So he goes there. He does it. He goes against Leia, and then R2 gets cut off by a door, and R2 is like, "Where do I go now?" R2 is he's just wandering aimlessly. I kid you not. R2 just stumbles upon Leia and the broken down C-3PO. How did C-3PO get broken, by the way? Did they ever show?
Yeah.
I forget.
He snuck in. He was wandering and like he saw stormtroopers back there, and he was like, oh, my bad. Oh, no, and they blast him. And then Chewie finds him like in the trash part, so he picks up all the pieces and
Ugnaughts are
stuff.
playing fucking catch with his head. Goddamn Ugnaughts. Disgusting bastards.
Hey,
What?
hey, Mando showed them that they can be good.
Oh yeah, true. He is one. That guy's way too. He's bigger than them all. Like those guys were.
He was way small. He was super
No,
small.
compared to them, like those things were like 2 feet tall. He looked like at least 3 feet. He looked like a foot taller than the other ones, unless that's just how modern cameras worked. But Brooke, the Bespin ones are assholes, and I won't. And you know it's true. Come on, they were gonna throw C-3PO into the incinerator. That wasn't nice.
Well, obviously.
Brooke, I have spoken. If only we talked about Mando, that would be fun. So
It would be fun. I do gotta say though, I have a couple notes about the fight with Luke and Vader. I like how I do want to say that since I have seen the scene where Vader tells Luke that he's his father, I have... The movie is like 60 years old.
come on, Brooke.
40 years old. I don't know how time works.
60.
But the point being is that I had seen that scene chopped up in that no used in Luke's anguished no so often. I forgot about his scene. I forgot about the cut before where he was denying it softly. And it was a lot better of a scene than I remember it being.
Oh yeah, you think that's crazy? Wait till you find out that only Hamill and Lucas knew the truth. You know how there's a guy in the suit that's saying
I knew about that.
Yeah, what the people on set heard was that Obi-Wan killed your father. That's what they heard. So that's what everybody thought was the twist. But because James Earl Jones records it on his own, separate from everybody else, with only George there and maybe another couple people there for like the audio stuff. Yeah, none of them knew. None of them knew the truth, and I think that was cool. That only Hamill found out just before it happened, like before he had to say it. So everybody was jebaited, which I wish we could do that more and with movies and stuff. But leaks happen so frequently. Remember how both
the last
it's just
impossible now.
Yeah.
The thing about Luke appearing in Mandalorian, though, that was pretty...
They kept that tightly sealed.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
So I think some would argue COVID may have had something to do with that too, because it limited the amount of people who could be on set at once. But either way, I think because with the last two movies, remember, Last Jedi, part of it got leaked out, and Rise of Skywalker's whole script got leaked out, and oh god, we hope it wasn't true. And then the one leak you don't want to be true. Either way. So what was I saying? Okay, so yeah, the battle begins, and it's more slow at first. I like how it starts out really slow. Kind of at first, you may think it's a little, it's gonna be like Obi-Wan versus Vader, but Luke's showing that he's got his own techniques, and he's not gonna go down so easily. Vader knocks him down. He's playing with him. He's only using one hand.
Yeah, that's it. Vader's playing with Luke.
He's testing him. He wants to see how good he can be, because at some point there's a point where Vader just starts using both his hands. It feels like a bit like what is this, a shonen fight where it's like, you fool, I have only used 50% of my power. Now I will show you 80% of my strength. It feels like that. I mean, no, he's not outright saying it, mind you, but the minute he puts the other hand in, like, okay, like, it's enough. I'm done playing. It's like, I've spent too long. Either way, Luke's doing all he can to hold out against him, and there's a point where he like kicks him down, and he starts searching for him, thinking, okay, I've got him on the run. But then then Vader just pops out, surprises him. But there's a point where Vader starts breaking off objects off the wall and slinging them at him, and Luke has no answer. Luke's not prepared for that. Luke never...
He's just getting pelted.
Yeah, it just shows that Luke was not ready in terms of Force training, because most Jedi do this. Jedi and Sith will use objects to throw off the guard of another, or just outright hit them with it. And Luke's just swinging around like he's trying to swing at a baseball, except he doesn't know where it's gonna go. It's kind of silly in a way, just seeing him like, yeah, just like, I'm trying to hit it, I gotta hit it. No, no, and then I think the window gets cracked and Luke's launched off. I didn't get the whole like the suction thing. It's like, what is that? They're going into space, but yeah. Um,
Yeah, the physics in this place are kind of weird. They don't like. I mean, it's Star Wars, and we don't know how the planet works and everything. But yeah, there are just random like suctions and things like that, or like the fall that happens later, and he just kind of slides in. I'm like, I don't know if that's how that would work, but
Yeah.
whatever. Like, it doesn't really
We
matter.
don't know.
yeah, Luke. Yeah,
Yeah.
Luke climbs up, and I think at that point he's starting to think maybe he should get away. But as soon as he enters that hallway, Vader just like, ugh, I'm gonna kill you now, and he's swinging at him hard, and Luke's just trying to not die. Luke gets, I think, a good swing at Vader's armor, and that just pisses him off even more. So yeah, Vader takes a hand off of him, and this starts the theme of almost every movie until the prequels. Somebody lost a limb.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's a funny theme when you think about it. So yeah, Luke loses his arm, and he's done. He also lost the lightsaber, which you thought would be gone forever. His dad's lightsaber is forever gone, never to be seen again.
Until
Never
randomly
to
in
be
another
seen
movie.
again. Not until we're not there. We're not there yet. So anyway, at the time you thought
wanna
this was
talk
the end of
about-
the blue lightsaber.
Yeah.
I
I do love, though, how Luke would rather die by jumping off than just going with Vader.
Yes.
And then Vader just looks down. He's like, well, fuck.
Yeah, because Vader's telling him, join me. We can stop the war. We can stop we can overthrow Palpatine, which he's right, because if you've seen the other movies, you know why Vader needs Luke to beat him. Vader has an inherent flaw that Palpatine excels at. That is why he'll never beat him, no matter what he tries to do. But either way, Luke, it's just showing more of the Jedi's philosophy that they would rather die than support than cause harm to others, because that's the Jedi way. You do not want to be the one that's causing harm to others. It's all about self-sacrifice and doing things for the greater good. So in that situation, between choosing death or joining Vader and becoming a part of the dark side, the Jedi would rather die.
Yeah.
That's just how
It's definitely a shock, and it's like, back in the day, movies ended with the good guy always winning. They didn't ever end with the good guy losing. Think Superman, for example. In every Superman movie, Superman wins.
Yeah, that's just how Superman is. You keep track.
Well, yeah,
you keep track of when he actually does lose in the comics more than when he wins.
Yeah, and it goes for like a lot of movies back in the day, or like virtually every movie actually, where the hero always finds a way to win.
If they ever lose, it's in the middle of the film, and it's not fatal. It's not a fatal loss.
Yeah, and they redeem themselves by the end. But in this one, they're just like, nah, Luke kills himself. Like, he basically jumps off, not expecting to live.
Yep.
And it's super like, I don't know. I couldn't even imagine.
I think it's great for the time, and still kind of more needed today, because not many films. I think that's why kind of people they like Infinity War, because Thanos wins.
Oh yeah, that's why I love Infinity Wars, because Thanos wins. Like, they don't. It's showing you that these heroes aren't perfect, and they're also not indestructible. Like, it's going to take more than the power of friendship for them to win.
I mean, isn't that what they used to get another shot at bringing everybody back? You give my boy Ant-Man some love. It's thanks to him, not just Stark.
But yeah, I just
the
really
rat
like it.
is the real hero of the
rat
MCU.
in the car.
Yeah, it's true. The rat that gets him out.
The pound rat, the greatest rat. The three greatest rats in Earth's history: Jerry, Ratatouille, and the rat from Endgame.
We need a top 10 rat list.
Yes. Well, oh wait, no, Pikachu had to be on the list. Shit. Either way.
Yeah, he's electric.
Okay, so oh yeah. Here's a weird thing that I liked a lot more than I should have. Okay, when they get to the Falcon, I always liked how when the song goes dun 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 dun, and you hear the blaster shot sync up with that. I really like that. I don't know why I did. I always liked when an action scene sync up with choreography and combat. Brooke can attest to this. When I liked watching early combat in Ruby, you really like Brooke knows an example. Like, okay, you know when they're fighting the giant bird, and the music stops when Ruby gets her sight locked on the bird's neck, and she starts climbing it up, and the music picks up again. Like that, stuff like that. I love in combat and action scenes. I love when the music syncs up properly with that. Andrew probably can find stuff like that in Yakuza as well.
Yeah,
Goated franchises.
Definitely.
Either way, well, not Ruby, but Star Wars and Yakuza are goats. Brooke, play Yakuza.
Brooke, play Yakuza.
I will at some point, probably.
I would have bought it for you if I wasn't broke on Christmas. I would have sent it to you on Steam and be like, Brooke.
I was gonna play them in numerical order. Yes.
No, play 0 first. Kiwami 1 is good too, but yeah, just play 0 first.
Yeah.
But
anyways.
Okay, so do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember the Family Guy version? Turn the ship around. Leia knows where Luke is. When I was watching Empire again, that song played in my head, and it's so dumb. But that's the first hint of, okay, there's this thing where Yoda says, no, there's another Skywalker. That was the obvious sign, yeah, it's her.
Yeah, where she was like, turn around and stuff. It's like, oh, well, she's in tune with the Force.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, why did that kiss happen now? This had to have been planned out from the start. You can't tell me.
I mean,
at least in the movie.
It was supposed to be awkward, I think.
It's just something you look back on, like, why do they do this? If she just kissed him on the cheek again, I wouldn't be bothered anymore, you know?
She was trying to make Han jealous.
Yeah,
doing
but if she just kissed him on the cheek, we wouldn't be as awkwarded out by it, because, you know, it's like, okay, it could have been worse. But
no, that's not. No.
Either way, Leia finds him. They're being chased by TIE fighters, and Lando opens up the shuttle thing on the top, and just Luke just gives out by then. You can tell Luke's just holding on. He can't hold on for much longer. And the minute the door opens, he just falls, and Lando catches him, brings him in, and they bail out. Luke's just laying in a bed chilling, and Vader's trying to reach out to him through the Force. Luke hears him, and he's not reacting as much. He's just like, Vader. Or Father, I don't know what he's saying. But the Empire, just like I mentioned earlier, Vader will take it does not try to overlook many things. They fixed the hyperdrive, but they turned it off, so they can't get away, and it will give them enough time for them to deploy the tractor beam. But do you want to know why I said Luke absolutely had to go so they could get away?
Why
because R2 is the one that fixes the hyperdrive. If they just had one astromech droid like R2, they would have fixed the hyperdrive and they wouldn't have had any of these issues.
It's true.
R2-D2 is the GOAT. R2 is the best.
He's the hero of the whole franchise.
Yeah. Wait till we get to BB-8, because I think I love BB-8 too, but R2 is he's just the GOAT. Vintage GOAT. Either way, because R2 noticed that the hyperdrive was off, he fixed it, and they were able to bail out, because they didn't try. I think, did they try hyperspacing once and then they found out it was broke? I think they did.
Yeah, they tried it once.
Yeah, and then R2 fixed it, and they tried again, punch it, and they go. And Vader's just okay. Here's a shot that got me. That I look back now, like, wow, I was scared for Piet for a moment, because Piet thinks he's dead. Because remember, he's like, "Don't fail me again." Yeah, you know, he's made it clear. Vader made it clear to him at some point that if you fail, you're probably gonna die. that,
Mm-hmm.
and Piet's like just like quietly gasping, knowing that he's going to die, and then he looks at Vader, and Vader just walks away. Vader just doesn't want to deal with him. His son got away. He's just too emotionally shaken by it to even bother with these guys. He just leaves, and Piet's just like, "Oh God, I'm not gonna die, am I?" You see the visual, like the fear in his face that he's gonna die. And then, of course, even with the other movies, other movies try to emulate what Empire does. But even then, I think they missed the fundamental point, and that is, even though everything that went wrong in Empire that happened, from Han being captured to Luke losing his arm to the rebels being torn asunder and torn a new asshole, everything's still fine because they're still alive. They're still around. They could pick up the pieces and fight again. And one thing that weirded me out now, and it took the Family Guy version to point out to me, was that why is Lando wearing Han's clothes?
Yeah, I don't know.
He did a costume change, and it's a little weird.
It is weird. Why is he wearing his clothes? That feels so...
Maybe he just looked really out of place in his fucking cape and stuff on the place. So
Doesn't he wear his cape
his
again in the next movie for the final battle? I think he does.
Yeah, in the ship.
Oh God, it's so weird. It's still stupid, but I liked it either way. But either way, it's just Luke and Leia on the Nebulon B frigate, and Luke gets his hand. I'm so used to the prosthetic skin. That's why I always found it weird to see Luke without the skin on his robotic hand in the sequels. Always looked out of place to me. Either way, they agree, like, oh, we'll meet up on Tatooine when you find him, and that's the end. So, what do you all feel about the ending? Because I like how it does still have some hope. I think that's kind of the point of even in these movies where the villains win. As long as you're all still alive, it's good. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. It's good.
Yes, that's why. But how do you all rate this movie? I'd give it the 9. Give it the 9er.
It was very good out of yes. I don't like giving numbers to things.
It was very good out of yes. If I do like giving numbers out, and for Empire rewatching it, I think I would give it, on a technical movie like rating, I'd give it a 9. On a enjoyment from me rating, I'd give it an 8.
Blasphemy.
But it's very good.
Very good.
And I enjoy it, and I like it.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch Return, although there's just one scene I'm not looking forward to. You know the one.
There's a couple scenes I'm not looking forward to.
It's that part. It's
Oh, I know. Oh, I know. Oh, I know.
Somehow you thought they couldn't make it worse in
They do.
What?
I said, but they
did. Brooke, do you remember what I'm talking about?
Not
There's a scene that they made worse in the special editions.
Well, I only know the special editions.
So Brooke,
I
basically you
have no
can't find
clue.
anything worse than this. It's like the music scene thing in Jabba's palace.
Yeah, it's the
Like
beginning.
they made
with
I
okay.
can't stand her. I hate that Filoni thought, let's make a whole episode dedicated to that bitch to explain how she gets to Jabba's palace. Because yes, we all loved her voice. I wanted to hear her more. I never liked that. It just annoys me. It just sounds grating. And I've heard grating stuff. Have you ever heard Toad impressions? Some of them are really bad. Mario Toad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't tell what's worse, those or this alien chick. Either way, blech, really bad. But other than that, I am looking forward to Return of the Jedi.
Me as
Yeah,
well.
and that means, and you know what
Same.
that means? One more movie, and they're on to the
One more movie.
prequels.
Prequels, yeah.
I feel like you and I are the
Thank
only
you.
ones that are ecstatic about going to the prequels. Brooke's just like, no, I want to go. I don't want to go there yet. I don't want to.
Looks like
Look,
I would
if
rather
I'm-
want to go home.
Look, I'm more honestly dreading rewatching the sequels because I just know it ends in
Wait,
disappointment.
we're talking about the prequels.
Yeah.
I know. I'm saying I'm more dreading rewatching the.
Let's be honest. You're
sequels
more
than I
dreading
am
me
the
dunking
prequels.
on the Last Jedi to no end because I am going to have many points that I'm going to have written down about why this movie pisses me off. But don't worry, Rise of Skywalker will get its turn too. I promise you that. Disney gets the most fault.
That podcast will be Brooke listens to Josh yell for 20 minutes and then tries to defend the movie she likes the most out of that trilogy.
I like Force Awakens the most, but I hate how Disney decided to cash in on this movie hype quickly.
All right. Save it for the movie.
Andrew.
Don't spoil it all
Oh,
here.
trust me, I could spend days. Go play KOTOR 2. It's a way better subvert your expectations thing. Either way, go play some Star Wars games. I think they're still on sale. I think Battlefront's still $12 and it's actually good now.
The Steam sale's over at this point.
Oh
Steam
no,
sale's
you
over,
can still
yeah,
get it in
but-
Origin. Origin sale
okay.
goes to the 13th.
Gotcha.
So yeah, you can still get it. I don't know about PlayStation though. I think I might get it on PlayStation, so I may have to wait for another sale.
PlayStation was still like the 5th or the 7th, so it either ended today or it has a couple
Yeah.
more days.
Either way,
Either way.
yeah, that'll do it for this week. Next time we're gonna talk Return of the Jedi. Is there anything else you two would like to add before you go?
No, I think I'm good.
I think I'm good.
Plugs will be in the doobly-doo.
Yep, you have everybody's promotions in the chat, our Twitters and Twitch accounts. Check it out there. And yeah, next time we end the Orig Tridge with my personal favorite movie. See you guys later.
Goodbye.
Later.